Hi, my name is John Kozinski, and I'm going to be talking about yin-yang health diagnosis. The idea of yin and yang has been around for a long time in Asia, particularly coming from China, to understand life, and particularly it was used to understand different aspects of health. And the idea of yin and yang is that in our body there's opposites, and the opposites in our body balance with each other. So this concept has been taught in modern macrobiotic circles as the concept of balancing contraction and expansion. I found in diagnosis, particularly for health problems, using the understanding of yin and yang as expansion and contraction is limited in its nature. But for health problems, we can understand that we have to balance with a certain kind of energy function in our body, where we gather energy into the system and make ourselves stronger, or release energy from the body, and by the release of energy, we basically circulate and move energy in blood and throughout the system to make the whole body function. So this concept can be very useful in diagnosis, particularly to understand that when we have an excess of one or another energy, particularly coming from how we live, our food, and our lifestyle, then we can become sick. Because food plays a major role of this, one way we can understand that is certain foods have such a concentration of energy that it gathers in the system. And this is the benefit of these foods. The foods that gather the most in the system are meats, eggs, and naturally derived animal foods like chicken and fish. And these foods, if eaten along with grains, beans, and vegetables from natural sources, provide good strength of a gathering energy, which can be called or classified as yang. But if these foods are eaten excessively or not balanced with vegetables and grains, then what happens, this can create a condition of stagnation or blockage. At first, the body would overheat from these foods, and then it would cause stagnation, which could lead to serious diseases, cancer, heart disease. This has been emphasized in the modern macrobiotic understanding that this is the cause of all different problems, except that there is a tendency I've seen in my counseling that more and more people are eating less and less animal food and eating more and more sugar, more flour, more stimulants. If we take food that releases energy, all carbohydrates release energy. The best forms for health would be grains and sweet vegetables and fruits, would release energy and stimulate the energy to function in the body. But if we concentrate on things like white flour, sugar, drugs, and certain kinds of medications, then the energy of the body becomes so released that it becomes exhausted and depleted. At first it becomes very inflamed, then becomes depleted. So what's happening is the energy of the body has released in excessive amounts, and this has led to exhaustion or a deficiency of energy in the body. So this way of understanding yin and yang can be very, very useful if we can apply it in a very, very practical way. Original Chinese medicine had wonderful insights into this, but many people, I think, find it hard to apply that to really understanding people's health conditions. And modern macrobiotics understanding of using contraction and expansion has some value to it, but it also has limited value because when you take something like, in the modern system, meat is classified as contractive, but really meat is not contractive. Meat is basically gathering energy, and then when it gathers, it builds up in the body. If someone eats natural meat, this in moderation, this could be a good buildup of energy. But if people eat poor quality meat or even natural meat in excess, then this could create a stagnation by building up in the body. So this yin-yang concept can be very, very useful for diagnosis in understanding all kinds of different levels of people's health, understanding which part of the body has become more stagnant or contracted and gathered with energy, yang, which part of the body has become more expanded and lacking energy because the energy has been dispersed from a part of the body. We'll talk about this more in future segments, but yin and yang in this way can be a very, very interesting concept for understanding our own health and understanding other people's health.